So there's been a lot of debate in the atmosphere, the World Wide Web, about whether or not strategic plans are in fact necessary for a church to engage in. Trust the Spirit, they say. God will make a way, is what they say. You don't need a plan, they say. It's a lack of faith, they say. Well, in this video, we're gonna deal with why I believe a strategic plan is in fact one of the most spiritual things you can lead your church to accomplish, and why in this day and age, it's a necessity. Let's go. So I was reading an article not too long ago, and I stumbled across this section where it was talking about a particular cruise line that had literally offered a cruise to nowhere. You would get on a boat, they would leave dock, you would travel out in the Atlantic for a few days doing some circles, and then you would just come back in. It was literally a cruise to nowhere. Yes, you had a good time on the boat, and you were with your friends and your family on the boat, and you had good food and good drinks and good music, and you had a great time, but the cruise was literally going nowhere. In a real sense, so many of our churches are just like that cruise to nowhere. You get together once a week, you have some good music, you have some good food, you have some good preaching, but there's really nowhere that you're going. It's just really coming together and having a good time for the sake of having a good time. And that's what happens when the leadership team does not have a very clear direction and plan on exactly what they're trying to accomplish. Now, if you're of the mind that, I don't need a strategic plan, I'm just gonna pray and God will lead me and He'll guide our church the way He wants us to go, I'm sorry to let you know, but that mentality, that approach is actually unbiblical. Because if you look throughout the Bible, you see a God who in fact is a strategic planner. When He came down in Genesis chapter 1, He had a plan. He didn't just say, let me randomly make things up and see what happens. No, He said, day 1, we're gonna do this. Day 2, we're gonna do this. Day 3, I'm gonna do this. He had a very clear plan. In fact, take it a step further, this whole idea of salvation and going to heaven, it's called the plan of salvation. It's not called the accident of salvation or the randomness of salvation. No, God had a plan. He is a strategic thinker and a strategic planner. If you read the book of Acts, when He's commissioning the disciples to go into the world, He doesn't just say, just go take over the world. No, He says, first start Jerusalem, then Judea, then Samaria, then the outermost parts of the world. God is a strategic planner. So if you're a church leader, you just can't sit back and say, let's just let the Spirit lead us. No, the Spirit wants to lead you through a plan. So you have to take the time to invest in figuring out who we are, where we are, and how are we gonna get there. What are the best programs we need? What are the best ministries we need to offer? When do those ministries need to be? Who should be leading those ministries? That's all a part of a very strong strategic plan as a church. In fact, Proverbs 24 verse 6 says in the Message version, strategic planning is the key to warfare. If you wanna win, you need a lot of good counsel. So not only is strategic planning necessary, not having strategic planning is really poor stewardship, and it's poor leadership. It's poor stewardship because you're just wasting the resources of the church because they're not moving together in one coherent vision that's moving and driving the needle and the mission of the church forward. And it's poor leadership because you're essentially letting people do whatever they want to do. And while what they're doing may be good and it may be impactful and it's making a difference in certain respects, just imagine the impact it could have if everyone worked together and was working and operating on the same plan. Not these silos mentalities where everyone's doing their own thing, staying in their own lane, but collaboration and cooperation and synergy and momentum is created when we all come together under the umbrella of one holistic, unique, strategic plan for our church. Now, what I've also realized through my time working with churches is that the reason why a church normally doesn't have a plan is for one of 3 reasons. Number 1 is because most churches don't know how to plan. It's not that you don't want to, but it's like you've never been exposed to it. Maybe you haven't experienced it on your job. You haven't read many books or resources about it. And so you're just not sure how to bring everyone together. And that's okay. There's hope and there's help for you. The second reason why a lot of churches don't engage in strategic planning is because it takes a lot of time. This is not just something we can do at a 2-hour board meeting and think that we're done. No. Strategic planning takes time. It takes a leadership retreat where you get your core leaders together and you all go away for a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're in the mountains, in the cabin somewhere, and you're just digging in, just saying, hey, God, lead us, guide us. Where are we going in this next year? What do we see? What's the vision? How can we work together? And so strategic planning takes time, and a lot of leaders don't feel it's necessary to invest that time. Well, I'll tell you, if you rush the process, you're gonna get a subpar product. And a lot of churches have a subpar product when it comes to the plan that they feel God has called them to execute. You have to take the time. And the third and final reason why a lot of churches don't have a strategic plan is simply because they don't think they need one. And that's unfortunate. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that if you just have a strategic plan, that that's gonna solve all of your problems. Oh no, you need a lot of prayer, and you need a lot of Holy Spirit, and you need a lot of strong leadership, and you need all of those things, the fruits of the spirits, the gift of the spirits. You need all those things in order to effectively carry the mission of Christ forward. But I just feel it necessary to really stress how important it is for churches, for organizations, for nonprofits to take the time to invest in developing a very clear plan. That plan becomes the foundation upon which everything else is built upon. So please, I beg of you, don't let 2018 pass. Don't go through another year, another month without taking time to figure out where are we going, why are we going there, how are we going to get there, and what will it look once we arrive there. You have to have a plan. Listen, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. The killer resource of the day is nothing but my own website, SethYelorda.com. Yep, it's my video. I gotta shout myself out every now and again. SethYelorda.com, please check it out. There's resources, there's tools on there that will help you begin the process of organizing your church for developing a strategic plan. Then if there's anything I can do to help, to come in, I would love to be of assistance to your congregation. Have a wonderful day. Peace.